Alright, welcome guys, welcome. Hopefully you guys can hear me very well. I think the audio is perfectly fine. Okay. What's up guys? Hey, what's up guys? What's up? Oh, starting off strong here with the likes. Thank you guys, thank you. Before I begin, we are very close to 400 subs on this channel. We are growing steadily. It's amazing to see. Very, very amazing to see. We're nearly there. 400, and then I'm pretty sure it's going to be 500 very, very quickly. Let's keep on growing this channel. I'll continue to provide some very, very insightful and most importantly, applicable information. So make sure you guys are sticking around and always watching my videos and my live streams. Right. Okay, so let's begin. So hopefully you guys have read the description box down below. Okay, so we're going to go over some of the swing trade ideas that we've executed on, like DELL, which you guys see here on your screens, PZZA, PZZA, and TSLA or Tesla. And we're going to go a little bit more as well. And I do have a swing trade idea that you guys might like, so make sure you guys stick around and find out what that is near the end of the live. So first of all, if you guys have been following me on Instagram, and if you guys have been catching up, or not catching up, but following the Instagram stories, you guys should know that I have posted this today and kind of the results, the before and after, and the results of the swing trade idea that I had for my private members and the report readers. And so essentially what occurred here is that, well, DELL here had a pretty stratospheric run up, and if you guys didn't know, I was able to actually catch DELL for my members back at 43 bucks. That's right. So all the back in mid to well, I would say mid last year, okay? Right before summer began, around the springtime, we had a nice breakout over 43 bucks, and then there's another entry point over this 70.50 or 69.10. So right at this critical resistance level. And from this point forward, it was just history, right? We just kept on climbing up higher and higher and higher, just surging to new all-time highs, and ultimately, DELL got kind of that AI craze coming in, for this name, and that's essentially what occurred right around here. So if I bring out my brush, okay, just this entire move up right here, this very rapid, volatile move up higher, was due to the fact that this name was beginning to come into that AI space. Okay, so now with all that in mind, okay, again, DELL, very huge long-term investment winner for me, for a lot of people out there. If you guys caught it, congratulations as well, in the 40s. But DELL, in this most recent earnings report, we had a nice gap down, and it was kind of expected, right? I mean, we're seeing the share price just skyrocketing higher to stratospheric highs, and it was just essential that we see a nice move down. However, after this move down, we actually did not see any type of follow through from the bears, from the shorts who are looking to actually move this price lower. And so this gap down area is filled with shorts, but underneath this gap down area, there aren't a lot of shorts left. And so if I show you guys the AVP, okay, or actually before I do that, this move down here, we saw a lot of support coming in at this daily 50 SMA, and the price, or specifically the shorts, weren't able to push the price lower. And I've noticed this, and that's the reason why I was able to grab some long-term call contracts that specifically expire next year, so I have plenty of time, a lot of time on this potential complete reversal back to the upside. So again, obviously, if you guys know me, if you're playing some sort of reversal trade, we're trying to look to fill the previous gap down area to the upside. And so we have plenty of time is essentially what I'm saying. And so this daily 50 SMA has been holding really well. And I saw a lot of put sales coming in as well. And the options flow for this specific ticker. And that usually indicates a potential bottoming price action. And guess what? We were bottoming at this daily 50 SMA area. And so with this SMA support at this 50 SMA on the daily time frame, I knew that we needed to get a position. And so when we continued to kind of consolidate between the daily 50 SMA, I added some more contracts to my position. And it ended up working out really well yesterday and today. And today was the first day that I had my first half of the position cut out, just so that we can, collect some profits. And the reason why I did that is that our first target was essentially 150, but we had a nice big break over 150, and we continued to climb up higher until we hit a high of the day price of 154.14. And so with the combined move of yesterday's and today's, we essentially were able to hit around, just from a simple observation with my naked eyes, at least a 50% gap fill of this gap down area. And so with today's close, we're back down to at least 25 or 20% of this gap down area. But this told me that the price was able to march on up higher and take out the sellers who are currently residing in this gap down area. Now, along with the very solid hold of this daily 50 SMA as a huge area of support, and along with a bunch of the put option contract sales that we saw, which again signifies a certain bottom forming, we also saw a very nice hold of this psychological 130 level. And this was a huge level back in, I would say from March to mid-May. And that's exactly where we're kind of holding out underneath new all-time highs. And so 130 was a critical level to break out of, and we were eventually able to hold this 130 level at the same time as we were holding the daily 50 SMA. And if we take a look at the AVP, or anchored volume profile, okay, what we have here is a lot of volume that came in around and above this 130 new support level. Again, this is the previous all-time high resistance level, and so we're able to flip this 130 level from a previous level of resistance, into new support. And I love the fact that we're seeing a lot of volume coming in right around this daily 50 SMA. And so it really made sense for the price to just catapult back up higher and reverse higher, and ultimately break over the previous high, which was on this day, the actual earnings reaction day of 144.80. And we have now officially created and printed a new higher high. And I love the fact that as we're moving up higher, we're seeing less and less activity, less volume in this specified range for this AVP, or anchored volume profile. And so right above from today's high of today and all the way up to around, I would say 164.50, which is my next major level of resistance or target, there's a nice small pocket of volume, right? So there isn't a lot of existing volume here that we saw in the past. And so with this non-existent activity, there is a chance for bulls to completely take out the sellers here and continue to rise up and rally on up higher until we hit this 164.50. And this pocket of volume clearly tells us that the bulls have the opportunity to take the reins and continue to march on up higher. Okay, so that's exactly what we're looking for DELL. But again, our long-term contracts has a far out the money strike as well. So who knows if we decide to make new all-time highs. All right. Okay, so again, AVP, I hardly ever use it, but I really want to just show you guys the visual of what we can potentially see. And the reason why I always look for these reversals where we can potentially see a gap fill of this gap down area, or whatever gap down area that we're looking at when we're looking for a nice reversal swing trade. Okay, so with that, let's take a look at the next stock, PZZA. So we're currently still in this one as well, like we saw with DELL. And pizza was a pretty amazing swing trade idea from the CFO Swinger Watch report. And I gave all of my private members of the CFO Discord and the readers of this report the first look of this potential mean reversion swing trade idea. And I'll give you guys a little hint as to the reason why this is a mean reversion swing trade idea. Well, so first of all, before I get into the details of why it's a mean reversion swing trade idea, drink some water here. This name has fallen into the depths of hell. Alright, so papajohns, PZZA, pizza. Okay, it's a perfect ticker symbol. Alright, so it's gone all the way back down, and it hit around I would say, if you just round up, negative 33% to the downside once it broke below 68 bucks, this level of previous resistance and support, and it broke with a lot of volume. And so once we're able to find some sort of a footing here at this 46.20 level, which is also, mind you, if you go on the monthly time frame, it's a heavy level of support, and even below 46 there's a huge area of demand as well, seen here and seen in the past here as well, back in 2014 and 2016. So we're now back to multi-year lows, a multi-year support. And I'm so glad that we're able to hold this so far, because we're currently in a position and it's working out really well so far. And so if you go back on the weekly time frame, we've had just a consecutive move to the downside, and most recently we had a huge move down where we consisted of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of just straight up selling and shorting. So 5 consecutive red weekly candlesticks, which usually tells us that we are about to have some sort of an oversold bounce. And so on the weekly time frame, okay, let me actually take out the DMI here. I want to give you guys a look at the RSI. So the relative strength index was very oversold on the weekly time frame, and it's still oversold on the weekly time frame. And so the value for this week so far is at 27.05, which is still underneath the official value of an oversold condition of a stock or stock price of 30. So this one still has a lot of legs to run to the upside, right? Now, as far as for the reason why we're looking at this from a mean reversion swing trade, other than the reasons that I just told you guys, right? The RSI and the really just consecutive amount of selling that we saw, right? Back-to-back selling that we saw for 5 straight weeks. We also have the daily 50 SMA trailing behind this massive dive lower, right? And so we broke below the daily 50 SMA, and we also saw a nice dead cross as the daily 50 SMA crossed below my daily 200 SMA, which is my yellow line here. And this ultimately occurred at the same time when we broke below this very critical $68 support level. And since then, the daily 50 SMA has not been able to catch up. And that's exactly where the official factors come in to really just identify a potential mean reversion trade. And so what I really want to see from PZZA is a nice move back up higher into the daily 50 SMA and officially retesting. And so we're able to consolidate really tightly in between the current base, this flat base between 46.20 and 48.50. And last week, or not last week, but a few weeks ago, we were able to break out of this very nice and massive falling wedge here, right? We have a nice descending resistance trend line and a nice descending support trend line that meet at a convergence point, which ultimately creates that nice descending falling wedge chart pattern. And so on June 3rd, and the first week, and the first day of June, the first trading day of June, the month of June here, we got a nice pop up to the upside with some volume. However, the price decided that it wanted to continue to stick around and consolidate. And so obviously, with this type of a flat base after a massive move down, it could simply be consolidation for sellers to just kind of pause here and to move lower and break lower. However, once again, as I've shown you guys in the weekly and the monthly time frames, we are at multi-year lows and at a multi-year level. And so this 46.20 level and anything that goes underneath 46 will be met with aggressive long-term buyers. And so to me, from a risk to reward standpoint, it just seems a bit more probable and logical to assume that we can see a potential reversal to the upside, at least a retest of the daily 50 SMA before it decides to move lower. And at that point, if you do see a retest of the daily 50 SMA, we'll be completely out. And if it decides to move lower, it's not my problem, right? Now, ideally, I would love for it to go back to at least 60, right? Since the $68 level was where we broke off officially to the downside. So ideally, the maximum target for PZZA will be 60, but I'll be realistic and I'll be looking at 52 plus the daily 50 SMA as our maximum target levels for this mean reversion swing trade idea. And so hopefully you guys can get involved with this one as well, since truthfully speaking, just to be frank, we're really not anywhere near yet with this mean reversion trade. I mean, yes, we got a nice entry point around this $46 area, but there's still a lot of room left for this one to move. And guess what? Today, we had a nice inside candlestick as well on the daily time frame. So this usually tends to lead to a continuation of the current trend, which is in an uptrend, because yesterday we're able to pop up again and break out over this 48.50 level, and we're able to actually close over this 48.50 level. And so this tight inside day candlestick on the daily time frame clearly indicates that we want to move on up higher, as long as we're able to break over the 2-hour flag that we've made, largely and due to the fact that today was a nice inside days candlestick, right? An inside day candlestick. So if we're able to break over 49 tomorrow, then we can continue to move on up towards the whole number level of 50. And again, my apologies, I didn't mean tomorrow, on Thursday. All right, we have Juneteenth as the national federal holiday. Right. So with that, let's take a look at TSLA. Right, so this is the swing trade idea from this week's CFO Swinger Watch report. And if you guys want to take a look at that report and kind of see what we're looking at and just have a general summary of the technical analysis on our swing trade ideas for this very short trading week, take a look at the description box below. And if you guys take a look at the part where it says watch the then private but now public TA video for this week's CFO Swinger Watch newsletter, and if you guys click on that link, you guys will be led towards that exact video, that technical analysis video. Again, it was a private video, but now it's a public video. So if you guys want to be able to gain access to that video a day sooner, make sure you guys DM me at chartsfocus1 on Instagram, and you guys will be able to get a personal private discount code for 50% off on your first 30 days. And so again, you guys are lowering your risk of 50% by trying us out for 30 days. Okay. So again, if you guys want to join, it's the time to join now, right? You guys will be able to have that 50% off for your first 30 days, and just ultimately see what we do here, and really just capture all of these swing trade ideas and execute with us, and just be profitable, right? That's the main goal. So let's get back to Tesla here. So TSLA. So Tesla is kind of looking pretty similar to PZZA in the sense that we ended up with a very nice inside day candlestick. So as you guys already know, I've done a bunch of technical analysis on Tesla. You guys can go back just a few videos on my channel, and you guys can see where I've talked about Tesla, and you guys can look at specific videos as well as some of the previous. I'm pretty sure I have 2 more videos in the past that are titled Tesla. So make sure you guys take a look at that. All right, so I'm going to briefly go over this very, very quickly. You guys should know the levels by now if you guys have been watching me, you know, for every single live stream and also my uploaded videos. So Tesla, basically, essentially, very nice inverted head and shoulders on the daily time frame, but on the right shoulder, it ended up becoming a nice, very nice flat base as it started to consolidate very tightly from 174 to 180. And last week, as I've predicted, we were able to correctly observe that we should be seeing a very quick washout of any type of weak buyers that were stuck in this range from 174 to 180. And eventually, right after that washout below 174, we had an immediate buying session coming in the next day as the price immediately snapped back over the daily 50 SMA and eventually over this 174 support level, this lower range level of support. And right after that, we had that news of the historically large compensation plan for the CEO, Elon Musk. And we had a very nice, massive gap up overnight. But ultimately, that entire news was digested on the same day and the following day. However, we knew that an opportunity was brewing. And that's the reason why I chose Tesla as my #1 CFO stockstowatch swing trade idea for this week, and ultimately we're able to catch Tesla with some equity over 181. Okay, so obviously I could have still stuck with my 180.10 entry point. However, I wanted to see for more confirmation that buyers were able to break over 180 again, since again last Friday we closed below it. And so yesterday, very good hold of the 180 resistance level as new support, and we're able to retest the daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs as a confirmed area of short-term support. And just today, we got our official bull cross, or a bullish crossover, as the daily 10 SMA crossed over on top of the daily 21 SMA, my light blue line. And again, my daily 10 is my red line. If you guys have been with us for quite some time, you guys should know that as well. So now today, why do I like Tesla even more? Well, simply for the fact that we're able to see a retest of a previous massive trouble area, which was 182.50. And in fact, the low of today was 182.37. So we're very close to that 0.50 whole number resistance, previous resistance level. And the reason why I say previous is that today we were able to flip from a previous resistance into a new level of support. So 182.50 is a new level of significant support as we pivoted away from it and we closed over this level as well. And so that gives us a confirmation that 182.50 is now our official new support level. So again, just like with PZZA, Tesla over here has had an amazing tight inside day candlestick that also experienced a nice RS flip. And so if we're able to continue to break out over today's high of the day tomorrow, so if we're able to break over 187.20 tomorrow, then we should be able to break over 187.50, which was also our first our maximum target for this week's swing trade idea on Tesla. Okay, so obviously we do need to expand our horizons for Tesla, since yesterday was an amazing, just a squeeze move up higher from the previous 2 days, trading days, price action, right? And so I would ultimately want to see some very good tightening action tomorrow, on Thursday, and even just on Friday underneath this 187.50 level. But one thing that you guys should understand is that Tesla has now increased its volatility as it was able to break over this deadlock between 174 and 180 to the upside. And so I would really love to see if it's able to break over 187.50 in due time, and ultimately retest 190 and eventually break over and retest with the previous pivot high point sitting at this daily candlestick, which is at 198.87. So ultimately, ideally, I would want to see Tesla going all the way up to 200 and taking out that previous pivot high point of 198.87. Hence the reason why I have decided to title this live stream as Tesla is finally ready for 200. Okay, so again, once we're able to break over 187.50, we should be seeing a retest of 190, and it should be some smooth sailing across this name across all the different time frames until we hit the previous pivot high point of 198.87, and ultimately have a nice pop over that previous pivot high point and hit that $200 psychological whole number level. All right. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is kind of the swing trade ideas that I want to go over. I did have another one, but I mean, you know, I want to keep it kind of chill here for today, since the markets aren't open tomorrow and we have a very short week, and we have the quad witching on Friday, right? The monthly OPEX. So, you know, I just want to make sure that you guys aren't inundated with too many swing trade ideas. If you guys choose to take any of the ideas that you guys that I've discussed tonight during this live stream, but again, this live is just for you guys to really just gain some valuable information, and most importantly, very, very great and awesome applicable trading ideas. I have to make that a little bit more dramatic, right? Since I say that all the time. All right, so last but not least, I want to go over a potential swing trade idea for you guys. So the ticker symbol is CDNA. So this one, first of all, the first thing that really caught my eye was that, well, this is a very illiquid name. And why do I say that? Well, the average daily volume rarely hits 1 million, right? So we briefly saw 1 million back in early May when we had that massive earnings gap up higher, and ultimately we weren't able to continue up higher after some pretty solid consolidation here, after an earnings gap up and a move up higher, a nice drive up higher, but on May 29th, we saw a massive move down that ultimately erased most of the gains that we saw on the earnings day's reaction. However, the thing that I really liked about this move down is that we were able to hold relatively close to the earnings day gap ups lows, right? And that low of the day was 12.53, and so we're able to hold that by making a nice make it a little more accurate here, a nice support level at the psychological whole number level of $13. And this $13 is going to be very, very significant as we move forward here, because again, it's the line in the sand level where the bears will be trying to push lower and ultimately break below the earnings day's reactions lows and trying to eventually fill this gap up area. Or we can see the buyers continuously defending this line in the sand level of $13. And if you guys take a look in the past here on the weekly time frame, this $13 level is a very, very large, significant level on the weekly time frame that goes all the way back to 2022. And if you guys go all the way back even more, back in 2020 and back to 2018, it was also a major level of resistance and support. And it was also a massive level to pivot off from that large COVID move down, where we saw the entire market just selling off and selling off until we hit that March pivot. And for CDNA here, that pivot was right at that $13 level. So again, what I'm trying to say here is that the $13 level is very, very significant. Now, before I go deeper onto the daily time frame analysis, I want to focus on the weekly time frame. So we have here, what we have here is a very massive flat base that eventually ended up with a very nice breakout to the upside. Now, I love the increase in volume from the earnings reaction that we just saw on May, but the only thing that's truly troubling me about this is that we are seeing some very massive red candlesticks, okay? And yes, this is probably just consolidation, but this first massive move down is our first risk or warning sign that this one can potentially break lower again. However, if you do take a look at the volume though, right, the volume, right, it does tell you that this is just simple consolidation. And at the same time, if you take a look at the previous volume bars from, especially if you just compare the green volume bars and the red volume bars that we've had for the past, around 8 weeks here, they're not really big, right? I mean, it's not really something to be so surprised about, right? I mean, yes, this was a very big move down and obviously a solid bearish candlestick on the weekly time frame, but from a weekly perspective, if you take a look at the volume, it wasn't that big, right? So the volume wasn't really there, which makes me think that we can continue to consolidate and ultimately continue to consolidate where we're able to see the weekly 10 SMA to catch up and the weekly 21 SMA to catch up as well. And so far, the weekly 10 SMA has been able to catch up as it has closed today at 12.83, and I would assume tomorrow it would have reached the critical significant level of $13. And we can see a convergence of the weekly 10 SMA hitting the $13 level, and ultimately we can see a continuation of a very nice consolidation here, okay, where we continue to flag out, and ultimately, right, we can see a nice breakout over 15.50. Right? So from a macro perspective on this weekly time frame, we need to continue to stick over the $13 level and continue to allow the daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs to catch up to support the momentum back up higher, since we are now on a pausing period while we consolidate. And so on the daily time frame, this simply looks like a simple momentum flag that's currently building up from a short to mid-term perspective. And so once we're able to continue to adhere and just consolidate tightly underneath this descending resistance trend line, we should be able to break over this trend line, also the flat resistance level of 15.50, and ultimately have a nice move up higher until we hit the next resistance level of $18. Okay, so on the daily time frame, very, very simple consolidation. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing is still consolidating next week, as long as we're able to hold over again this $13 level, which spans years. It's a multi-year level, and I feel like I've been saying multi-year levels this entire live stream because again, we're looking at very significant levels during our technical analysis and just really pointing out what truly matters on every single time frame that I'm looking at, especially all the higher time frames like the daily, weekly, and monthly time frames, right? So that's kind of it for you guys. The CDNA can be a very, very rewarding equity swing trade. And again, the reason why I'm saying equity is that I really wouldn't advise you guys to use any option contracts. Why? Well, the equity itself is very illiquid, right? This one hasn't been able to consistently sustain an average daily volume of 1 million and higher. So this one, again, is right back down to an average of around 700,000. I just rounded up. So again, unless I see some type of a resurgence of really good volume that creates an uptick in the actual average daily volume. So one of these days, maybe when we see a breakout over 15.50, that's also associated with very good buying, some very large buying coming in. Maybe on that day, ideally that day, we can see a huge, big volume pop, and it can potentially help have a nice increase in the daily average volume. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Alright, so CDNA, that is your swing trade idea, this free swing trade idea. So again, if you guys really want to know what our other swing trade ideas are that we currently have in our CFO Discord community, along with the previous CFO Swing Watch report, make sure you guys DM me on Instagram at ChartsFocus1 so that you guys are able to try us out for 50% off for 30 trading days, right? Or just straight up 30 days, right? So, you know, that's really it for this live. If you guys thought this live stream was really insightful, make sure you guys leave a like down below. And if you aren't subscribed yet to this YouTube channel, I don't know why you guys wouldn't be. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because we're very, very close to hitting 400 subscribers on this channel. So let's keep on continuing to grow, and let's continue to excel with our swing trade ideas and just overall our trading journeys. All right, so good luck, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great rest of your night.